Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So in this one, we are taking a look at Strong Sarah. This is one of my favorite builds with Sarah, and the cool thing about this deck is you really don't need a ton of pool 3 cards to play it. Now, the kind of, I think, mostly optimized version, there are a handful here. We have Goose, we have Colleen, we have Maximus, and obviously Sarah. But there are definitely replacements you can make to where you can play this with majority pool 2 cards and still probably do pretty well. I do think the most important cards in this deck are definitely obviously the Namesake and Sarah and probably Maximus. I think Goose and Colleen, while very good, are probably a bit more replaceable, but Maximus and Sarah definitely very important for making this deck work. Let's talk about it a little bit. So Strong Guy, one of the namesakes of the deck here. Ongoing if your hand is empty, plus 6 power, so 10 power for 4 cost. Fun fact, Strong Guy used to be a 2 cost with slightly smaller stats, and he was really busted. Didn't see play for a while, but now he's kind of making his way back, and a big reason for that is Sarah, one of the most powerful cards in the game. So Sarah, cards in your hand cost 1 less. This enables us to do some pretty crazy things on turn 6, with vomiting out a lot of our hand, and more importantly, making sure we have no cards in hand so that Strong Guy gets a ton of value. So other than that, we have some pretty standard cards here. Nova as our main 1-drop, as we don't really care if this gets blown up by an opposing Killmonger or our own. It helps buff up our board. Blade, this is probably the one card I would consider potentially cutting from the deck, but sometimes he's really good at the end to help make sure we have a empty hand, but it's not really a card you want to tempo out on 1 or early in the game because you don't want to discard your big impactful cards. I think he's okay, but this is probably the most cuttable card from the deck in my opinion. Angela, just super big all-star in any deck that cares about playing a bunch of stuff on the board. Goose, this is actually a recent change I made to the deck, and I love it. I think Goose is really good in a deck like this, because if you look at our cards, we only have 2 cards that cost more than 3. So it's much easier for us to play into a Goose location than the opponent, and there are definitely a bunch of decks going around right now that really care about playing big stuff, and Goose just totally locks them out of being able to win one of the lanes. Colleen, I think Colleen's really good in this deck, mainly because we just need something that is cheap to discard, and with Sarah, this becomes a 1 cost 4 power and gives us a discard. So I think most of the time, as is the case with most of the discard cards in this deck, we kind of want to hold these unless we really have nothing else to play them on our Sarah turn at the end of the game, but just a generally pretty powerful card and fits the kind of general theme we're going for in the deck. Lizard is rather nice as he makes it very hard for an opponent to fight for a location that they're not willing to fully commit into. You can also use Lizard to bait people by putting a Lizard in a lane, have them kind of go hard fighting for that lane, thinking you're going to fight for it too, and then actually just kind of go for the other lanes instead. That's one powerful thing about the Sarah archetype is because you can throw out a bunch of cards on the final turn, you can kind of trick your opponent sometimes into thinking you're going to go for one lane when you actually go for another. Bishop, natural all-star in Sarah decks. He gains a lot from the fact that we're playing a lot more cards in a given turn than a lot of other decks are. Killmonger to blow up our own Nova, as well as deal with any pesky 1-drops from the opponent. Swordmaster as our final discard card here. So we do have 3 total discard cards, and I think that's kind of optimal for this. The discard cards are kind of awkward if we're not playing them on the final turn, because they're discarding stuff we want to be playing generally. But when you do play them on the final turn, especially with the Sarah cost reduction, they are very overstated for their cost and help guarantee a powerful Strong Guy. And then Maximus also falls in this category where, yeah, you can tempo out a Maximus, but usually you don't want to give your opponent the cards. However, sometimes if they have a Cosmo lane, or if there's a location that stops the on reveals, or if they just have a very large hand, you can get away with playing it. But this is another card that really benefits from being played on the final turn when your opponent doesn't gain anything from getting the cards unless they have a Devil Dino, and you only are paying 2 for it instead of 3 due to the Sarah cost reduction. And then last cards here, Strong Guy, deck is really built around him. The fact that we can just get 10 power for a 4 cost, and sometimes even surprise, throw it down as a 3 cost with some discard with Sarah, really, really good. And Sarah is just what enables the whole archetype, because this deck would not work nearly as well if we couldn't play a bunch of these powerful cards for cheaper on the final turn. So we're going to get right on into the games with it here. Before we do, if you enjoy this type of content, remember to like and subscribe. It's a ton to help out the channel and keeps the videos coming. Without further ado, let's get into the games. Still not sure how I feel about it. I like the style. Also, I got this variant for Colleen and I love it. She's got the cat. My variants have been ass the last few days though. It's been really not variants I want in the store. Hey, what's up, TV? Yeah, it's a great one, right? I was really happy to get this one. Guess we'll try and block them out at the middle. Okay, they're a discard deck. Wing, Cow, and Jaw. Yeah, it's not a bad way to go with it. I would definitely save some for sure. Guess I'll just play. Oh, I guess we should play into the building. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with mine yet. I recorded a video today. It's talking about like what you should spend your stuff on. And I'm generally of the school of thought that if you already have at least one or two pool 3 decks that are pretty good, I don't know if it's worth crafting other pool 3 cards unless you're only missing like one card for an archetype. If you're missing like one card, then I could kind of see it. But I'm really curious if it's worth it or not, because like some of those pool 4 and pool 5 cards have the potential to be very, very impactful. Not all of them, but given the whole weird rarity thing, it's just interesting. The game's never done anything like it before, so we'll see what happens. It's new for everybody. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to craft pool 3 cards, but I think it's important to see, like, how fast do we get these resources right, rather than just using them immediately. But again, people can use them how they want to, you know? People are gonna do what they want. And if you have more fun with the game, more power to you. So this will get our hand down. Yeah, I think this is pretty reasonable. You do get a lot more tokens after completing pool 3, that is true. I don't think we beat Giganto. We got pretty damn close though. Oh wait, if we oh wait, no, we do because of the Baxter building. That's sweet. Look at that. Hey, Swag coming in with the raid. What's up, Swag? It's nice to see ya. Really close to the full collection before they add all these other new cards. I do think one thing that's going to be really important with how they're introducing these new cards is I think they're going to have to let us know sooner rather than later how often like these things are rotating. Because there's a huge difference in a pool 5 card staying in pool 5 for like 1 month versus 2 months versus like half a year or something. Like the timeline really matters. Yeah, and it's bad for competitive, right? That's another big issue, is you'd have to basically ban out the cards because even the super whales probably aren't going to be able to easily acquire them, at least in like a reasonable manner. So it creates an issue of you probably have to ban cards purely for their rarity. And if they actually do want like any form of competitive stuff, that there's like a huge wrench in it because you want people to play with the new cards because it's advertising. It's just very strange. Like, I think people will still make something work in spite of it, but it's definitely not, like, I think it's something they should really change over time, frankly. I think it's a very flawed system. I think it's going to do more harm than good for the game. Yeah, we're all in here. Kind of wish I put the strong guy over here, but whatever. Three boosters and 50 credits. Oof, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is a mobile game first, but they did talk a lot about wanting to do competitive stuff with it. I think it's just gonna, I think the game is gonna take some time to figure out, to really hit its stride. But I think the current state it's in is generally good. I think it's a fun deck. Oh, there goes my cup holder. Okay, we both get a card for free. Yeah, Flood Sarah is neat. You can do a lot of stuff with Sarah. She's definitely one of the most flexible cards in the game. Also, this opponent is going to get blown out by Killmonger. So let's get our snaps in. They can't even protect this. So I think I'm going to try and lock down the middle from their big stuff. And we'll probably like sandbag this Killmonger. So they put resources into it. Because they don't have a way of like, they can't play armor there to protect it anymore. Yeah, his hand seems pretty good. This is looking like Agatha or something. Or Hela. Oh, I forgot I can't play my strongman here. Ooh, that's a little unfortunate. Was not thinking that through. Alright, in comes Wave. So this feels... Well, they can't actually play Agatha if they did that. Because Agatha can't be played here because of Goose. Well, nothing can be played here because of the Wave, actually. So we want to blow up their stuff. What gives us the best chance here? We could play more stuff, so we could... What would that be? 3, 4, 5. That gets to 5, so 7. It would be 16. They would need 4 here and 5 here. I think that's pretty decent. Alright, Chavez. We beat Chavez, right? We do. Just barely. Z games. Especially because people don't really expect it from, like, non-on-reveal decks. Do I hold the Nova here for the domain? I think I will. Alright, well, we're putting Goose there. 100%. Well, now I'm going to use the Nova to buff up the Angela. In worst case, we'll just blow it up. Oh, are you trying to get the win with one card thing done?
Wind, aid my hand.
Yeah, her thing is definitely board spam. Like, we're going to see that this game. Literally have to pass here, I'm pretty sure, and to just... Oh, I can't even play Sarah in the middle. That's a little cringe. Do I ever, how many cards do they have? 5. They'll go down to 4. I don't like giving them cards. I mean, we could just play for their flood lane. I think hand dump is the better strategy here. Alright, well now I'm glad I didn't play for the flood lane because I wouldn't have beat it. Killmonger, that's good. Would have preferred it last turn, but... Interesting, they aren't playing in the Stark Tower lane. Ah. Why wouldn't you play Vision on the left? That seems weird. Or not the left, the middle. Well, now we can play a lot of cards. I think this is fine. Although maybe I'm overplaying for the middle. I think it's fine. And before Shang-Chi out of nowhere. Lizard. Nova. Carnage. Alright, cool, we win. Very nice. See, so they actually made a huge mistake there. Oh no, they didn't make a mistake. I'm a dummy. I forgot about the goose effect. That's why they didn't play it there. They couldn't play it there. Ah, so goose was actually did something very good there. That's neat. Yeah, Maximus very good with Ceradex. And that game was not going our way in the beginning, like at all. This is another kind of awkward, yeah. Some people, like, I've definitely been in that position where I go to slam a card and then it doesn't slam. I'm like, wait, what? It's the goose. Yeah, they probably should have locked the bar. That might have been better. We want to discard our Swordmaster here to play Colleen. You'd rather just hold and maybe play the Swordmaster next turn. Colleen will be cheaper with Sarah. We really gotta hope we don't discard Sarah. Or maybe we just get a 2-drop or a 3-drop that we can play. Lizard would be pretty good. I've come around on Lizard. I used to think he was really bad, but I think that's because I remember him in the beta. He was only 4 power instead of 5. Alright, that's pretty good. We want another one of these? Probably... There's this... No, we don't really need another one. Yeah, we don't want to fill our hand because of Strong Guy. So, yeah, I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. They're just kind of different. How much do I think they're gonna play here? Because, like, I could Lizard. Sarah will make this 1, 2, and 3. I think we're gonna assume they're not gonna play for the left. It's kind of risky. But it lets us fight for the middle so much better. Alright, I'm pleased with our decision. Oh man, that's such a goose. Just denying their ability to play like Destroyer in this lane could kind of just potentially seal the game. They're ahead by a bit though. We have to make sure we can discard our cards. So if we do this, next turn we will have 4 cards. 3 cards. We have 1 discard. We could discard our discard. So it's probably safer to... Oh, but we have cloning bats. So discard isn't even that guaranteed. I think we have to play the Sarah. I guess we could goose the right. It's true. Oh no, we can't goose the right because we have to play our cards here. So we're just gonna slam the Sarah. Oh, okay, they X the middle. The problem here, this would be enough, but we're gonna get copies of all our cards. Yeah, it's very popular right now. I guess we just do this. Do we beat this? Is this enough? I think it is. Pretty sure it is. 6 and 4 and 5 and 3, yeah. So we do get there. See a destroyer. Bet they didn't see that coming.